Well, I welcome you to the Engine 557 Restoration Company. We're in a old lumber warehouse that became part of the Alaska Railroad property. The main line goes right behind the building here. The railroad provides this facility for us to do the restoration on Locomotive 557. This is the last steam locomotive that was in regular operation on the Alaska Railroad. It was arrived here in 1944 along with 11 other locomotives of this class to help the railroad through the war effort. It was offloaded in Whittier and became part of the fleet. The Alaska Railroad made a number of winter modifications on the machines that we'll be using, and they made some major upgrades. This whole family of locomotives, to put it in a frame of reference internationally, there were 2,120 of these locomotives built in a 28-month period by Alco, Lima, and Baldwin. They were all building the same locomotive for the Army Corps of Engineers to go all over the world. All of those, but for 18, left America. 12 of those 18 came to Alaska. We have 2 left, one on a park strip in Anchorage and this one. They provided regular service on the railroad. 557 primarily worked on the southern end of the line, Seward, Whittier, Anchorage. The machines gave good service, and most were retired by 1954. This one was kept around for special occasions and excursion tours and that sort of thing. And eventually was retired into the engine house in Whittier for storage. Eventually it went to scrap. It left Alaska on board the train ship Alaska, which allowed it to go in the stern just like a big ferry. It sat in the junkyard in Everett, Washington. Monty Holm of Moses Lake, Washington, operated the Columbia Basin Iron and Steel, big scrapyard. And he wanted his own steam engine, so he bought it, and only through his foresight was 557 saved for the future. And when Monty passed away, 2 other people stepped up, Jim and Vic Jansen, the people behind Linden Transport. They had been childhood friends of Monty's, so they bought it from his estate, turned around and gave it to the Alaska Railroad for restoration. Made arrangements with the railroad to get it shipped up here on the Linden barges. We had a big to-do on its arrival, and eventually it arrived right here in this yard. I remember that day because it was August 18th, 2012, 9 years ago. The Engine 557 Restoration Company was a nonprofit organized specifically to do this restoration. And our stated objective was to restore the locomotive to as new or better condition, and then train a crew for its operation. My job was to sell the project, get a board together, raise the money, and keep everybody on board. We have a professional engineer for the project, and that's Robert Franson of Steam Services of America. Robert comes up periodically when we need him here to do major things. We keep setting end dates, but the reality is it takes as long as it takes. I would like to get those wheels back under it this fall. When that's done, we can start hanging all the appliances on. We'll be able to roll it out and do what's called a hydro test. It's what all these volunteers are here to do. The reason they keep showing up is we want to roll it out that door, have the boiler with some nice tempered water in it, light a fire, make steam, blow the whistle, and roll it back and forth. At that point, we have accomplished our intended goal.